I'm gonna go ahead and resume recording in progress. And we're gonna just start smiling because I've learned as I've transferred it over that it takes, whatever freeze frame you get, like, as we go over. So let me transfer it to the Facebook group. Uno momento. All right, I'll share that later. Share your group. Smile as it starts to stream. Getting settled in. I think it starts to play as it's loading here. So yeah, just figure. And then I get positioned and I make sure I can see everything and I'm not muted.
Oh yeah, make sure about
right. The worst when that happens. Done it once
and nobody hears you.
I know, it was terrible. It's terrible. Okay, my friend. Before we kick off in the group, obviously I'm super excited to have Jessica here, but I wanted to remind everybody that we have put out a scholarship for free coaching. And so if you're still interested in maybe applying for that, I can send you guys the little survey you fill out to enter and be considered for some free coaching. So just wanted to throw that little pearl out there. And then as I'm introducing Jessica, I'm gonna share my, I think let's see what I'm gonna share. I wanna share like a little slide. And so just give me a second to pull that up. We're gonna see ourselves here.
Cool.
Then here, yeah, I figured maybe you'd like this a little bit. So maybe that looks good. And of course, look how fancy that is. Yay.
I love it.
Oh, awesome. Okay, everybody. So basically Jessica and I met, we met in Beachbody boot camps back in the day. And so one of the things that was really awesome about those boot camps was meeting amazing women. And Jessica and I were able to meet each other. And that was cool is, well, we meet each other virtually. And then what was cool was that we actually got to meet each other in person in Texas when she came out for a visit. So I wanted to just show you guys a little, about her family. I don't know if my video is like blocking your face or anything. We'll change it over here, but I want to make sure everyone can see these cute little pictures that you sent me, and basically just some background on her. And of course, like Macy is wanting to go out of the, of the house or whatever. But anyways, this is live. This is what happens in real life, right?
Oh yeah.
So Jessica is this beautiful mom with their children. And as I'm opening the door, something that really has inspired me with Jessica is just her tenacity and her ability to push through and persevere. And that's why really I wanted her to be on this, because I wanted to have a conversation. I wanted to encourage and inspire other women. She does the same in her business, and she's a mindset behavioral specialist. So I'm going to look forward to learning about how her journey got her here, but just some background as far as her being diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis at age 15, weight fluctuations all over life, some addiction stuff that I wanted you to obviously tell us in your words. And then of course, when I shared this picture, let's see, oh, there we go. Sorry, I haven't used like PDFs like forever. So again, live, unpracticed here. This was a pretty vulnerable picture that you shared, Jess, and I thought that was really awesome, that it just showed a physical transformation, but there's also a lot of internal transformations too. And so because this group is, a fat loss group, I just thought, you have a lot of a story that relates to that portion of it, but you also have a massive story when it comes to mindset and overcoming obstacles. So I figured just kick us off, like, please just share a little bit of your backstory, kind of your youth, getting up to those teenage years where you were diagnosed, marriage, kiddos, and then where you're at right now. So let's have the floor.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Gregory. So yes, I was diagnosed at 15 years old with JRA. Okay. I have a twin sister. She does not have it. That was different and a little rough to a point because, she could do everything that I couldn't. So that's how I looked at it back then. Like, woe is me. I became my own worst enemy, my own demise. When I got diagnosed, I really hated myself. I hated the disease. I thought I had to fight against it for so many years, which really is quite the opposite what I needed to do. Okay. but we'll get to that in a moment. So after the arthritis and all, that was pretty devastating because I was on ESPN for cheerleading. I was on my way to maybe get a scholarship for college, had all these dreams and aspirations and all. And it just kind of came crashing down when one day I just really couldn't walk. And then it was like every other day I was like in pain. And then we finally found out, it took about a year to find out what was wrong with me. They weren't sure if it was cancer, if it was, you know, all types of different things. They weren't sure because it's rare, right? To be that young. So then eventually after the first year, they got me on the right medications to Band-Aid it. Okay. I say it that way because I didn't know there was a way to basically reverse this disease. Okay. And so that's all I knew. So I listened to the doctors, took medications. In my 20s, I got multiple surgeries from a hip replacement to screws in my foot and then a fused wrist. And in my 20s is when I was introduced to pain meds, right? So eventually, over the course of about 15 years or so, I became very dependent on them, which led to addiction because I was having to take more and more, and it led me to the streets to have to go get more because I'd run out early. And it was just this whole vicious cycle. And I hated myself for it. I kept just really not loving myself at all. And the way I spoke to myself was terrible, okay? My mindset was so negative for most of my life, actually. Like, I don't know, can't really even remember when I really truly loved myself until the last few years. And I know that sounds like terrible, but maybe someone can relate here. Okay. Like I was really good at sabotaging myself. I was really good at beating myself up. I was really good at making excuses. Okay. And justifying my actions. So that always got me off the hook. But the more I did it, the more I learned to despise myself, the more negativity that would come about, the more I just didn't trust myself. So once I got through my 20s, the addiction wasn't too bad yet. Like I was able to kind of hide it or whatnot when I was a teacher and everything. Like I was functioning fine. And then my husband and I got married when I was 29. We started having children. Well, after the first baby, I got really depressed postpartum. Now in hindsight, I could see I gained a ton of weight. I hit 215 pounds pregnant with my first one. Okay. But that's pretty heavy. Okay. I was large and in charge, but okay, it's fine. Everybody gains weight pregnant, whatever. But I couldn't really lose it afterwards. That was like the biggest trouble I had with my weight loss journey was after I had a kid. Like I struggled through my 20s, you know, I wasn't eating right. I ate a lot of sugar and junk food and alcohol through college, like we all do. I wanted to be normal, but I didn't know how much that was harming me, right? Harming my joints and stuff. And it led to more diseases, Crohn's disease. I was diagnosed with eye disease, colitis, endometriosis, all types of things, right? Depression, of course, anxiety. So I didn't realize food had a lot to do with it until later in life. But anyway, back to hitting 215, that was like huge for me to like have to drop that kind of weight. I was so desperate. You know, I tried the Weight Watchers thing. I tried Nutrisystem, all these fad diets out there. And yeah, they did work to a point. I did lose some of the weight, but then as soon as I stopped it, I would gain it back. So it was not sustainable, right? It was like maybe for a little quick fix for like a cruise or for a wedding or whatever, I would drop some weight. So I was so desperate between having the two kids, I started taking stimulants. So that's when my addiction got worse because now not only was I hooked on opioids, now I'm mixing it with stimulants. And then I needed to go to bed at night. So then, Xanax. And it was just, this was a bad situation for me because, you know, the more you mix things like that and hard stuff, it's really hard to get off of. All right. And it really alters your brain, your perception, your judgment, everything. So yes, I lost the weight. Oh, great. Easy fix, right? Well, not because it came at a price. I lost myself and I was no longer even recognizable to my husband. I mean, I looked hot, right? Because I lost the weight between the two kids, but it wasn't really me. So we got pregnant with the second one. And I only gained about 50 pounds with her, but I started much less at 130. So I hit 180 pregnant with her. So I stopped all the nonsense, of course, when I was pregnant, because, you know, I was pregnant. But after I had her, I was heavier at this point. So I don't know, after you have the baby, maybe you lose 10 pounds. So I was like 170. So I was starting to not feel good in my body again. The whole vicious negative cycle of thoughts of like, I'm not worthy, I'm so gross, oh, you know, my husband's not going to want me, all those things came about. So I went back on the Ritalin and the Adderall, the stimulants. And okay, great, lost the weight again pretty quick. But this is when I became really reckless, because like I was taking more and more and more. And I just knew by the time my little one was about 1.5, it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. If I didn't stop this way of life, I wouldn't be here for my kids. So I had to really dig deep, like learn what's my why. Why do I want to sober up? Why do I want to be a better person? Well, for my children. And just this can't just last, this way of life, right? Forever. It's just not sustainable. So I took the leap of faith. I didn't go into any kind of rehab or anything. I know that sounds crazy, but I had these 2 kids to take care of. And so I did it. I knew I prepped myself up for a roller coaster ride. I did a lot of research that, okay, my brain is not going to be stable for up to a year after getting off these hard medications. Okay. And so in hindsight, maybe I should have had a doctor help me and stuff, but that's just my story and what I did. So I got off of everything, and it was kind of a shock to my body. It was, I couldn't worry about my weight at that time. So I did eat a lot. I gained pretty much a lot of the weight back, like 40, 50 pounds. And I started not liking myself again. Right. But I was like, I'll never go back to that though. There has to be another way. And that's when I met you and Jess at Beachbody. And I was watching your girls' stories, and I'm like, wow, if they can do it this way, the right way, then why can't I? Right. And I felt like you guys were talking to me like right into my soul. Like, you can do this, like it's one day at a time. It's going to take a little bit of time, but you know what? This is the way to do it. It's sustainable. You know, it's doable and it'll last forever. So I was like, okay. And I had to get my mind wrapped around this is a lifestyle change. Well, eventually I started working out and, you know, eating healthier, and I started feeling better, but the weight wasn't really coming off until I hired a one-on-one coach, because I needed more accountability. I wanted to learn about macros and all those things, right? And about protein and all these things that, you know, you teach. I learned about how important sleep was, water intake, upping your protein, knowing how many carbs and fats to eat through the day. All right, weighing myself. I had a bad relationship with food. I had a bad relationship with the scale you step on to like see your weight. I would just dread stepping on the scale, because again, here I was heavier, and I'm like, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be like you just take a pill and in a month you're, you know, losing the weight. So it was hard at first. It was, but with the support, the accountability, other like-minded people I was surrounding myself with, oh my gosh, it only took me 8 months to drop that weight in that picture, from the blue bathing suit to the other one. 8 months.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
What?
No, that's amazing. I love when you give the timeline too. And I think what I love is about this as well is like, you got to a point where like you did a lot of stuff on your own, which is super, super impressive. Like the fact, like you said, the fact that you didn't have a doctor or a counselor or a therapist or something like specifically like for, in a sense, the addiction kind of stuff of like being dependent on that kind of stuff, to be able to, in a sense, take, you know, do that on your own is just like impressive. So it's kind of like, I have no doubt that you can lose the weight and take care of your body too, because hello, you quit something that is super, super hard when you become dependent on it. So that's so impressive. And I love the idea.
You said that, because that's true. That's what kept me going on the really difficult days. Thanks for bringing that up. I forgot about that. I would tell myself, if I could do what I just did, then I can do this. There's nothing I can't do. Right. So yeah, thank you.
That's fantastic. I mean, and that's the thing is because our group is obviously we're geared towards fat loss, and everybody has their story and their background or something that an obstacle that they've done in different levels of, you know, seriousness or like how it impacts your world or whatever. But it's like, I think a lot of us women in particular beat ourselves up a lot too, especially with body image and how we're comparing ourselves to what we see in social media and wherever else. Because obviously with social media, it's like even more in your face than the magazines that you would get in the stores or the TV shows that maybe you would watch, right? Because it's like just kind of coming at us constantly. So, you know, I think with you having an autoimmune issue as well, how did that impact your fat loss journey overall?
Ooh, good one. Okay, so yes, when I was heavier, like if I'm over 140 pounds, it's really hard to walk. It's hard to function.
And how tall are you again? How tall?
What's that?
How tall are you again?
So right now I'm 5'4" and I'm 130 pounds.
Okay.
So yes, and I'm thriving at this weight. And, you know, of course, I'd want to be a little more shredded and all those things, but whatever. Okay. I actually finally feel good and I'm appreciating it for once. But so it's not like, oh, what's next? That's what we forget to do. We're so quick to judge ourselves, criticize ourselves, but how about celebrating the little wins, getting up every day? I'm able to walk without so much pain. How about like, you know, foregoing that piece of pizza or ice cream? Huge win. What? You know, like showing yourself that you can be disciplined, right? That you can do it. Even if we fall on our faces, because let me tell you, it wasn't just an easy breezy thing. Okay. I don't want to get it misconstrued here. It was hard. There were many a days I went to bed crying because I'm like, oh, I messed up today, or wanting to just throw the towel in and think, oh, I can't do this or give up. But I just knew I already tried that. I tried the giving up part. Why don't I just try keep going the distance? Because if these women can do it, then I can do it. It can be done. There's facts out there that show us this can be done. So it has to be true, right? We see it in our face, but we forget how strong we are.
Yeah. I love that. That's such a good advice. So if somebody was like just starting out, or maybe they've been trying for a while and they're super discouraged, I mean, what did you do to kind of push yourself to keep going and to not give up this go round? Like, what do you think? Does something stand out to you in particular that you kept practicing or doing to make sure that you don't give up and just throw in the towel again? You know,
literally one day at a time. One day at a time. I stopped looking behind me so much. I'm still working on that. And I'm trying to not keep looking too far ahead. Okay. And stopped comparing myself, because my journey is not the same as yours or other people. Yeah. As soon as I catch myself doing that, I'm like, okay, stop it. Stop comparing. It's okay. You're where you're at. You're going to get better. And at first you don't really see the results, right? Like I didn't just, start seeing the results or seeing the scale drop. It took about 4 months until I started seeing the needle drop. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So I had to be consistent. That was the thing, at least 80% consistent, if not more, if I could be. But of course, you know, we want that cake. We want that, you know, a little bit of booze sometimes. We might go over our calories. I would go over 300 here and there, not all the time. I try to hit my macros and my, my calories for the day as well as possible. And what really helped was planning ahead, right? What's that saying go? Fail to plan to fail. Plan to fail,
exactly. Yeah. Yep.
And it's true, because I used to be so spontaneous and just could eat what I wanted as a child and like in my teens. And then, you know, in the 20s, that's when that whole thing started, like a little bit of weight gain. And then I could lose it, but with these little fad things, but only temporarily. And it's after I started having the kids that it really packed on, and it wouldn't budge really. Right. So it's until I learned that this is a lifestyle. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't temporary. This is for the rest of my life. And you can still have your cake and eat it too. Okay. Like that's the great part about it. If you know what you're doing, if you get the skill set and learn the tips, tricks, and strategies that you teach, that I learned from other coaches as well, it's doable.
Yeah. I love that. It's doable. And you're obviously a testimony to that, because It's just like another person who had to figure it out, had some ups and downs, and eventually sought out some help to kind of get to the next part, which is just fantastic. So switching gears a little bit to more of the coaching side of the world as a mindset behavioral specialist.
Mhm.
And as we're working with clients and stuff, obviously now you are starting to work with people and obviously seeing what they're coming up against. So when somebody is, they say, I'm going to work with you, I want to improve and change some things. What are people kind of coming to you for in particular? Like, what issues are they struggling with? Maybe it's a little bit different than just weight loss issues or
Yes,
fat loss
yes.
issues. So
It's more, what I do is it's more geared to self-sabotaging behaviors.
Okay.
I want to help them with their mindset and their behaviors, their habits, okay, before we even get into the weight loss thing.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you just jump in, and it's great to know your macros and everything like that. But if you don't change your behaviors, your mindset and your habits, it's not going to be sustainable. Like, that is a huge part of it all. So the people that come to me, either binge eaters, overcoming alcohol, like they struggle with self-sabotaging behaviors. They're numbing themselves. They're looking for external validation to fill this void within them. Okay, self-worth. So I teach them how to really learn to love themselves, trust themselves, do a lot of that inner work. So you might not physically see a lot of my clients' results as like weight loss per se. Okay, everyone's different. Some people come and they want to pick my brain about that, and that's fine. That's not my specialty though. I'm more geared towards helping them change their habits, helping them change the way they see themselves, see the world, little change in perspective. Okay.
Yep. I love that.
Super important.
Okay. I guess when we have clients too, there's some times where they struggle to kind of get out of their own way, right? And so it's kind of like you can only push somebody to take action so much. That's one of, I think the biggest challenge is you build a roadmap for somebody and you want them to follow through, and things get in the way. And that's where we as coaches have to really have empathy for those situations, right? It's kind of like we understand that, like, gosh, you're a busy working mom with so much on your plate. There's so much to juggle. And I'm kind of like, sometimes I'm talking you off the ledge. Sometimes I'm counseling people. Sometimes it's a counseling session because it's kind of like, okay, let's work through this because I want you to know that I have empathy towards your situation. So for people who are struggling to take action, do you have anything that comes to mind as far as like what to focus on? I mean, you might have alluded to a little bit earlier, but I'm thinking if there's anything else that you're thinking about of how to help somebody kind of like push past inaction and take action, with what you're suggesting.
Yes. Well, what's helped a lot is just being very transparent and vulnerable with them, sharing what I've struggled with. Okay. Just so they don't feel so alone. And then I do more group coaching. So it's like it's kind of like a hybrid. It's one-on-one, but then also grouped. So then they have their other group mates that are in with them. So for that extra accountability, and yes, I check up on them, see how they're going. We do the one-on-one calls, all that thing, and then some group calls. But basically, we can only lead a horse to water. We can't make them do it. And I have had some clients that really struggled. They just weren't ready. I can't want it more than they do.
Yes.
Because then, I'm just driving myself insane, I learned. So, it's like we can show the way, the roadmap for the most part, but they have to take action. And I'll even ask, hey, is this not the right time for you? Maybe we can do it another time.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times we're like, no, I do want to try. And then we replan and make smaller steps for them to reach. Just doable. 1% better every day. I always teach my clients this, just 1% better. That's it. Okay. Maybe you planned on eating that salad, but you ate 3 pieces of pizza instead. Okay. Boom. You fell on your face. Let's get back up. So what are you going to have for dinner? What are you going to plan to have tomorrow for the day? That's okay. Yeah. You didn't derail everything because of this one mistake, right? Oh, I went past the liquor store and I caved and I got the liquor. Okay. Thank you for being honest with me. I get it. What could you have done differently? What will you do next time? Oh, not go past that liquor store? Okay. Because I help people rewire their brain. If you stop doing the same repetitive habit over and over again, then you have a chance to do something different. You have to do something different than what you're used to doing. Otherwise, what's the definition? Doing the same thing over and over again. Right.
Sanity.
Sanity. So, which I was good at doing. I was always wishing and wanting a different life, but it's not until I started really taking those steps, those action steps to get there. And hey, maybe my plan was a little too ambitious. Maybe they got a little ambitious. Maybe they thought they were ready to track their food, but they're just not. Maybe they're not ready yet. That's okay. How about you just write it in a journal what you ate? Maybe you're not ready to weigh your food yet. That's okay. Let's start here. Let's start with one salad a day, or one more cup of water a day. Maybe just break it into smaller tasks for them to reach. Once we reach that goal, then it builds this momentum. And then it's like, oh, I can do it. Oh, my jeans are a little looser. Let's go. Right?
Yes.
Yes, I went a week without alcohol or without whatever's kind of substance. Okay. Let's see.
Celebrate the small wins, right?
Yes.
That's
what we forget to do. We forget to celebrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I think and I think the no win is too small. Like, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I think that's one thing I've done too with clients, has been like, okay, obviously you're not where you want to be just yet. We're getting to it. And we don't know how long it's going to take, because everyone takes a different amount of time, right? There's no definitive time frame, but let's reflect back on things that have improved. Oh, your sleep is better. Oh, you're drinking more water. You're more hydrated. Oh, you're feeling a little bit better. Your energy is better. Like, your mindset is better, right? So if somebody was coming up to you and they were on the fence of getting coaching, how do you think you would kind of maybe convince them that, like, look, it's one of the best things I've ever done? I mean, people can be on the fence all the time about investing in themselves. And so what do you think that extra push, or how can you share, like, just take the leap or trust the process, or what would you say to somebody who's on the fence of coaching?
How has it worked out for you so far?
Mm.
First off. Second off, it's okay to get help. I finally realized that, because I'm so stubborn, trying to do everything myself. And I realized I needed help. Listen, I can't do this on my own, or I'll go back to my old ways. Right. And that's when things started changing. I started to finally realize I needed help. That's okay. It doesn't mean I'm weak. Just other people, that's their specialty. That's what they're good at. You can't be the jack of all trades, okay? Or what's the saying, where you're the jack of no trades, whatever, that saying. So basically, what I would say is, do you feel you're worth it? Do you feel that you're worth investing for your health, your wellness, to change? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you sick of your own crap?
Yeah.
How's it going to change unless you try something different? And it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was signing up just for weight loss with those coaches, but I signed up for way more. Now I'm becoming a coach. Get out of here.
Yes. That's what I love to see. I love to see when people, because that's exactly what it was. Like, me gaining weight and trying to lose it was like, man, if I know that I've got people looking up to me, then I've got to practice what I preach, because I want to make sure that you first off trust me, and that that I'm relatable, because I've been there, just like you spoke to. And now it's a matter of being like, look, I can help get you there too, wherever you want to go. And our goals might be different. Maybe you want to get shredded and I don't want to get shredded, but I'll help you get shredded because I know exactly what to do. Right. Yeah. So I love that. This has been so fantastic. I think it's such a great overview of, like, coming through trials and tribulations and on the other side. And I'm so proud of you, and you're somebody I look up to and have been so thankful to get connected with. And I'm so glad we got to meet in person too. So do you have any closing thoughts for the group here? Again, we're so appreciative of your time on a Tuesday night.
You. Well, just remember, okay, like, it takes one step at a time. One choice, one decision can change your whole life. Okay. And you are worth it. You're worth the investment in yourself. Nobody's going to come on their horse their shiny horse or whatever to come save you. Okay. I had to learn this. Nobody was coming to do the work for me. No one was coming to save me. I needed to be the one to get up and do the work, even though it was painful, even though I wanted to give up, even though I had all the excuses in the world. I could have just stayed how I was, but I wanted to learn and grow. And I know everybody out here has that desire. And yes, it's challenging. Yes, things can be uncertain or you feel out of control at first. Okay. But if you're uncomfortable in your skin now, you have to pick your uncomfortable. Either you're going to be uncomfortable working out at first, and then it's going to get easier, or you're going to be uncomfortable in your own skin not doing it, right? It's like, which hard are you going to pick? Because everything in life's hard. Yeah. And it's just one choice, one decision away. And what's holding you back?
That is a great way to end this. Well done. Can you tell like she's got like a motivational speaker in her, like ready to go, get on stage? Yeah. I love it. I can't wait to rewatch this and like absorb it and everything, because it's just been awesome. So thank you so much for sharing your story and being willing to be vulnerable. And I'm so excited for your next journey. I know that you're in our group, and if anybody has any questions for her, please, you can comment below or reach out to her individually or whatever. We are always about women supporting women and friends supporting friends and all of that stuff too. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you. And that's our show, right? So, hey. All right, Jessica, I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.